morning. Okay, serious or funny? Okay, funny. You got it. That's good because that's all I have. I'm a little contrary, so it's good that you didn't tell me what to do. Because, for example, I wore a sundress on what feels like, the first day of winter, or the first week of winter. So yeah, I'm a little stubborn. Oh, thank you. And I just panicked because when they said spiritual reading, I might be kicked out after this. But it's, I have a tendency to take myself too seriously, and I need to challenge my ego. So I'm glad for you who mentioned that too, because I'm on that same journey, and it's hard. So get ready. The anatomy of a mountain. There's a lot to be said about death. Like, for instance, one time I was so sick, I swear I died gripping for dear life the porcelain's edge, exploding from both ends. Sorry, I cannot tell a lie. I got my mouth washed out with soap for that one too many times. And what happens to you when you sleep? Answer me that with your graph sheets, data points, and lecturing head. So with that being said, a child begotten from the flattened plains of Michigan, foolishly, I might admit, set in mind to climb an Appalachian mountain. Restless, unfulfilled, and unhappy, we at times venture forth, marching full speed to the most foolish sides of ourselves. Needless to say, she woke early in the morning, a weary glance from her distrusting partner. He looked askance at her plans and said, "I'll go with you, but if things look bad, I'm headed back up." At least he had a lick of sense. Sad to say, but at that moment, you could say she wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Early in the morning, they set off just after coffee. The sun shone brightly, not even a hint of mist. Atop that old mountain, they started down the mountainside that Hurricane Hugo had ripped through a year previous. "This is easy," she said gleefully, piped as she went down, skipping from tree to tree like a chimp swinging from a rung ladder. When they hit all the branches and scree that had washed and tangled from the previous year's storm, and he, the only one with a lick of sense, decided to head back up. An hour later, having spent it sliding down a mountain on her back beneath brambles, hinged like barbed wire fences, she reached the bottom, scratched, bleeding, and bruised, but triumphant. She headed back the other side of adjacent mountain rather quickly, crossing the gully of the gently inclined ravine's bed. She nearly walked upright along that gentle incline that she didn't realize skirts every mountain bottom. Scoffing derisively at the so-called danger, "Ha!" And when the incline gently steepened, she thought, no worries. The top is just over that edge, not even 6 feet. Well, Death had the last laugh that day, his wicked grin bearing down on her. At every 10 more 6 feet, she scaled. And at the very last 11th 6 foot, where she paused to look at the true top, her patent leather flats, long abandoned, and probably still stubbornly stuck along the side of that mountain, it began to rain. I kid you not. Just 6 more feet to the stone wall that marks the parking lot, and just 5 more feet to the nearest tree of that steep incline, only made for a mountain goat to scale. And in fact, it started to rain even harder. Yes, everyone has their foolish moments, but this girl was even more stubborn than any mule. She decided there was no way she was going back down. Time to bite the big one. She left her cragged perch. I swore she flew upright, like running on a flat track, the miracle mile. She swears herself she didn't feel her feet hit the ground. And when she reached that stone fence with curls of steam rising from her fingertips, she lay there painfully sobbing, ragged, racked breaths. And there you have it, the anatomy of a mountain